What's up, everybody? Berserker Bear coming to you with another edition of Bushwhacking Tartaria. And let's get right into it. We have boots on the ground for you here in Buffalo, and we also have some old map action going on here. And I want to give a shout out to Mr. Brees, Mr. Comment, Mr. Brees in the comments actually, and another researcher at MeWe, our research site. We have an old map here. He sent me a whole bunch of these old maps actually that look a little bit out of focus from up high, but you can actually zoom into them and see city blocks, street names, and they have a legend here too as well. And this one is from Buffalo, bird's eye view of Buffalo, copyrighted. These are all available in Library of Congress, and I will put these in the description. We have a copyright published date of 1902. So what I'm going to do is show you an example of how a video that I put out a couple months ago confirmed what I put. These maps actually confirm a video that I put out a couple months ago. Now, mind you, I did just receive this video, or excuse me, these maps from Mr. Brees. Again, thank you very much. From Queensland, Australia, to me here in Buffalo, a huge shout out, and thank you very much. These maps are absolutely unbelievable. We have a couple of them. We're going to go through this, and we're going to orient to where we are today. This is Buffalo today. Okay, and this is where I am. And where I went today and got boots on the ground. And I'll actually explain to you what I mean by boots on the ground. Obviously, you know that, and a commenter said if I say it one more time, and I will actually lay back on that. But sometimes you got to lay it home, you know. Anyway, where I was today was a place that I've been very interested in my entire life, inquisitive as I am. Okay, this is Riverside Park. And this is the General Motors Tonawanda powertrain. Now, I'm not going to say exactly, but this is Berserker Bear stomping ground right here, effectively, ground zero. Okay. But what I want to focus on is a feature that I've always wondered what it was, and now I have an idea. Actually, I think now I pretty much nail it down. Not to the actual feature as to what it is, but definitely as to what it was for. Okay, do you guys notice this right here? Okay. Now let's get up in on that a little bit. Now that's a doorway. It's a stone doorway. It looks like, I guess I could say it looks concrete to me at this time. But I really don't know. It's definitely a doorway that goes subterranean. And I also did notice that they were doing work over here in front of the GM plant on this little embankment as well. But let's keep this in mind, everything going on here, okay? Because we're going to really nail some stuff home with these maps that I have recently acquired. And you might say what this structure is here. Some people might know. I guess it might be municipal, for the local municipality working on. I mean, that's completely understandable. But I'm going to present a different argument. And let's first get you boots on the ground. Oh, what's that? Did you notice that? Anytime I have a video where you see that, that's going to be an official boots on the ground. So I will try to incorporate that feature in with my videos instead of to distinguish them from my picture videos when I do pictures with old books. There you go. Swali's back on the boots on the ground for you. But that's there you go. Okay, that's that. Now, when I say you drive by it, that's the one. Okay, keep in mind, this is the 190 in Buffalo, the Niagara section of the 190. That is the Niagara River. That is Canada. Left of screen is south. Right of screen is north. We are looking west towards Canada. And this little thing right here probably is Strawberry Island. These little trees coming up over those buildings is probably Strawberry Island in the middle of Niagara River. See that? So, when I say concrete, poured concrete, yep, metal door. Certainly looks modern. Actually looks similar to the concrete of these dividers here in the highway. Highway. I said highway. Keep that in mind as well. That's looking towards the Chevy plant, the GM plant. That's the GM plant. I guess I didn't need to zoom in. Okay, so that was kind of a short one, but it's for a reason. So that's where I was. Now let's kind of try to get this oriented to where we could zoom in on this bad boy. Oh, not there yet. Now let's check out that area in 1902. I believe it was 1902. Excuse me. This whole map is gravy. You can look up in on this. Look at, there might be Star Fort type deal there, repurposed. See where my cursor is. I'll get a bigger cursor for you guys as well. I'm sorry about that. Okay, 1902. And yeah, you can go through this whole thing, and here goes where you could reference everything. Buffalo State Hospital is, I will do so a precursor, a preview of that place for you. Where are you? Here you go. I want to get this in for you for Halloween. The Buffalo State Hospital was the Buffalo Psychiatric Center, was the Richardson complex. We call it the Psych Center. A lot of kids have broken in there over the years because right behind there is now Buffalo State. Okay, they put Buffalo State College right behind here in this area, in this field. But this is some thick Tartary type deal, and you can just see the build out of this old city that Buffalo is seemingly. What I'm interested in is my area. Okay. Again, when I say this is my stomping ground, that's this area. Okay, it stops at the city limit though. Okay, this is the most northern part of the city of Buffalo. My grandfather actually used to say that. There is North Buffalo is over here area. The most northern part of the city of Buffalo is my stomping ground. In this area, and for your reference, this is Riverside Park. Let's get you a good reference on that. This is Riverside Park right here. Let's do a 2D for you. That's Riverside Park there. This is Riverside Park here. Okay? I'm just going to keep it in this view, if you guys don't mind. Okay. What I'm getting at is keep an eye on here. This stops at Riverside Park, but I can presume that it keeps going. Now what I'm going to get at is the the 190 was all Canal. Okay, this is Riverside Park. This is underneath here. Let's do a 3D. And that, you might say that that's not, obviously we have baseball parks, everything. We also have something like this here, which I'm going to have to get into. Cataract Power Conduct. That's at, I know this street right here. This is at Coalition. That's this little nook right here. Right here, Coalition. You see it? Right here. Okay, so there were some cataracts right here, and there's old Tartary buildings right here too. Look, boom. And there you go. It looks mud flooded a little bit. So there goes. I believe that will strike out the sinking notion right then and there. Some people think that the mud flood is BS because of, oh, these heavy buildings could sink. Well, I don't think that these red brick buildings that are pretty much shells are that heavy, and they also have the same mud flood action. So how do you explain sinking with that? I love to hear an answer to that, please. Thank you. That's all I'll say about that. I thought we were downstream from that, to be honest with you, the sinking thing, but certainly is a good argument. And for people that are just coming into this thing, for answering questions like, why are you saying Tartaria when it's clearly a geological area that's, you can look up on Infogalactic, and it's in Siberia, Russia area. What we're saying is the idea of it and the republics of it. And when we say mud flood, we're saying in pockets, okay? And these shells of buildings pretty much aren't that heavy. I would assume compared to the 17-foot thick walls that are in the Philadelphia City Hall, okay? I could understand your argument there for sinking, but would it sink evenly? Because of those 17-foot thick walls all over the place, would it sink evenly? If it was liquefaction, it would be absolutely chaotic, and you'd see evidence of that. So that's that. What was I getting at here? Okay, yeah, that cataract. That's right around this place. And now look at what I'm saying now here. See this little tract of land on this? You know what? Let's do that. It's just so much better. Look at. Now you might say that's how it was back in the day. Well, I just obtained these maps, and I said this a couple months ago in a video that I'm going to cite for you guys, that I think it wasn't necessarily for this specific spot, but what I was saying is that I really do think, and I still think it's a possibility, that the railways were canals, like even before all this stuff, before the 1800s, like pre-1600s even, because when these were fully operational Tartarian cities, back last age. I know it's hard for people to wrap their mind around, but if you see something like this, look at, because this goes back, what I'm going to say is this goes back, you can prove that this is water here. This is water. So some highways were water, and they backfill them in, obviously, were water, at least canals. They backfill them in, and they raise them up, and they rose them up as highways. And well, in some places, because that's why they call them the highway. A lot of places in Buffalo, they're raised, they're mounded up. Like this. It's above these houses. Okay? It's higher. It's higher than the surrounding land, because I think they use quarries to backfill all. They would need some backfill. And they actually are opening up the earth over here by the Hutley plant, which is another old Tartarian industry. Look at that bad boy. I haven't even graced that yet. Haven't even hinted at this yet. But I will get there. Plus it's closing down soon, and they're probably going to want to knock it down. And we're going to get into some of these guys that actually go into there. What's up, fellas? These guys crush. My man over here, Woke. I got some more gravy for you guys, so stay tuned. So yeah, what I'm showing you now is I got boots on the ground, and I think that this building here, had to do with canal type deal, or it's going to the underground subterranean because there used to be a canal. And what I was saying, now if you go to my video here back in the day, this video, it was from June 24th, 2020. What I say is I make an argument.
And just if you see what I'm talking about here, following this down to the river.
See where I'm at? Okay.
Okay.
Fast track you.
Keep it going, keep it going. Now I fish down here on Unity Island, used to be Squaw Island. Do you see how it bends towards the river here? And then you also have this greenery too. So imagine this is all connected, and you have...
Yeah, I think that these might have been canals also way back. They're railroads, and old railroads and defunct railroads now, like the old Beltline Railroad. But I'm laying that down here in this, and then I get these maps
this green patch here
from Mr. Brees, and it shows actually that the 190 north to south 2D at the 190, at least this stretch right here by Riverside Park and everything, or to Riverside Park, and I'm sure it kept going and kept going and kept going. Obviously, you know, the map breaks off at Riverside Park right here. Okay, because it's a city limit, but you can see, obviously, I'm sure it keeps going, okay? So, number one, we got proof, at least in that map that they're providing us, and those maps are from the Library of Congress. Highways used to be canals, or at least this stretch was a canal. Now, it's not so hard, in my opinion, to believe that also these sections could have been terraformed as well, because they would literally just have to backfill canals. And Michelle Gibson talks about how these rivers don't look natural. Putting all that stuff together, I think it's not too crazy to make an assumption. Now, getting into that as far as terraforming, and someone had a question about what terraforming is. Effectively, what terraforming is just going out to a city like this that I've seen from John Levy. When he does his most recent one and references Great Salt Lake City, I believe that you can begin to see how they can go to cities and have broad swaths of land and set them up and terraform them or geo-engineer them, lay stuff down, and then you keep that in mind, and you can begin to understand that what we're seeing as mud flood might be the geo-engineering and the terraforming around those buildings. For example, think this was all flat land, nothing was here, but this thing, for example, then they geo-engineer all around it, flatten the land, bulldoze the land. And then what we see as what looks like mud flood or mounded up buildings, or even like I went over on a video before real quick. I wasn't even planning on getting into this, but for example, as to what I'm talking about, you begin to start seeing things like this that we think is mud flood. And then people are just like, well, no, that's just, hill, whatever. Yeah, that could be mud flood, but that could also be the geoengineering terraforming that I'm speaking of, because I'm referencing stuff like this. Another map that I got from the trove from Mr. Brees. Look this up, guys. Vanderbilt Improvement Company owners. Despatch, New York, Rochester's great industrial suburb. They were selling a place to go live. Oh, you say how? How do you know that? Fine business and residence lots on easy payments, right for like they had everything set up for you pretty much. Businesses ready to go. Effectively a blank city. Similar to what these guys over here, the proper people, these guys are amazing. Go look at one of their videos where they go to an empty Chinese city. Here you go, right here. This one right here. Exploring an abandoned Chinese ghost city. And actually one of the underground places in this spot where they go looks like a parking spot. It actually looks like a place that would actually accept a huge massive mud flood. Watch that video and tell me what you think, that they're questioning a place underground that looks like a car park, but they're like, there's no way, it's too big. And I'm like, that looks like it can be a cistern to accept a lot of fluid. You tell me that in there. And we're also going to come back to these guys for another one about exploring. Check the name of this one. And well, I'm sorry if you can't see it. It says exploring an abandoned hospital morgue. Power still on. And I'm going to weave a thread to this thing for you. What we have here, about 53 in. This is Woke, another great channel. Highly recommend you watch all his videos for sure. I just lost that video though now. 53 in. Oh no. That's it. Definitely maybe. Do we live in a computer? Now look at how he makes power still on. Keep this in mind. I'm gonna go. We're gonna trail into this and round this off. Keep in mind, power still on here with the proper people. Keep in mind, woke here with do we live in a computer? Definitely maybe. We were just at Despot. Now look it. They're selling a completely laid out city, effectively, or a reset city, obviously, right in the proof is in the pudding right there. Where's the copyright on this? Now this is also from Mr. Brees, and he O.H. Lithco. I'd like to get a date on this. He also pointed that out. This right here, like it's an advertisement for a complete, and I haven't even done a, you know what, I haven't looked at this at all. But so what I'm thinking is, okay, evidence for, you know, this doesn't disprove the mud flood. Okay, I don't think that it was these buildings were sunk. I think that these buildings that you see that are cathedrals, okay, what they do is we come upon them, terraform around them, because there's probably a lot of mud in them. Like everybody has been saying, all these channels that are in my inspiration. Okay, it seems that we've came upon this stuff, and I think I'm showing you proof of that right now, and I'm also showing proof of how they can terraform or geo-engineer from just looking at these video or these maps from one day. And I look at the stuff that's near my house, stuff that I've actually been to, and I'm or stuff that I've seen, and I see this, and I'm like, wait, and then I look at this map, and I'm like, oh yeah, look at my area. And now I also remember my neighbor from my father at my father's house. It's around this area also. A little bit more left of screen. Okay, he's more in the Tonawanda area. Now, saying that he used to remember when Riverside Park went down to the water because they built. Now, when they built the 190, I know this for a fact. When they built the 190, they not only did they destroy the beautiful. Look at this is Canada. Look at how nice that is. Now we have factories and whatever beltway on our side. But when they did build the 190, I do remember that they took earth and backfill from Strawberry Island to backfill it, and that compromised the integrity of Strawberry, which was much bigger at the time, and there were islands or buildings on it, and you can actually see that a little bit here. Strawberry Island was absolutely huge, didn't go up that far whatsoever, and now it's just a shade of itself pretty much. You know, it keeps on eroding because again this current's unbelievable. I got caught in this current one time swimming around this end. I didn't realize I was scuba diving not scuba diving with my goggles on, and we park up here. This is where a lot of people park boat, and you can hang out up here. It's not that bad right here, but I had my goggles on, and I did have a life jacket on, and a snorkel face down going this way with the current. And when I popped up, I was almost all the way down past the island. Now, I'm a strong swimmer, and I've been in these waters my whole life, but I had a life jacket on, so I had to swim all the way against, come back up, and try to make it around this bend, and I couldn't do it. Like, I just wasn't making it, and I just swam the shore, and I was completely exhausted. Anyway, that's a very side tangent, but there you go. I know these waters, and yeah, what I'm doing is laying down the fact that they could geo-engineer and geoform and terraform whole swaths of land. And I do think back in the day that these were canals, because we do see how this used to be a canal from Squaw Island right here in their maps they provide us. Look at this. Let me back up on this actually for you. I'm in. Okay, here goes Squaw Island, Unity Island. See how it used to be Squaw, now it's Unity. And it goes. This is not a canal now. This was all now the 190. And they all block. This is all crazily. This is way different now. This is the international bridge that is. I'm trying to orient myself right there. Okay. So yeah, this was all island. And this went through canal, canal, canal. Yeah, where did that... What? It's crazy weird. I can't even orient myself right now because you can confirm for sure that right by Riverside Park, all this is water, water, water. Look, how am I... Water, water, out to here. And we can confirm that this now is the Thruway. So it was a canal. Definitely. What I'm saying is they can terraform and geo-engineer an entire city, as Mr. John Levy so eloquently does every single time he lays down a video. And I believe that he did one on this a couple times. I think he referenced it in his last video on how it seems that we came upon it. And obviously you can see how they can do that too. If you have a huge swath, and I believe I detailed this in my talk with Philip Druzinin on my chat with him. Go and look up that as well. I'll put that in the description as well. Let me write that down, because I do detail how, in explaining how these may be, how these old railways may have been canals. And I'll cite the autodidactic Campbell Africa videos on that, because it looked like Africa, maps of Africa were all canaled out in the same kind of spiderweb pattern that the railways are here in the Northeast, or what you will call the Rust Belt, okay? And I think that this map right here also proves a little bit, or at least I do hint on the fact that this area down here of Buffalo by the International Bridge is that way, and lower under the International Railway Bridge, because there was water going through there at one time. And I do say that, and these maps do prove that. On record. Boom. There you go. So that said, let's get into rounding it off. As far as I'll be putting some more out about these maps. That we have a bunch of these maps. Actually, every city has them, and I will put them in the description for you guys. If I don't do it right away, I will eventually, and keep up on me about that. Now this one is also interesting. Yeah, Dispatch, New York. Selling a city, pretty much, with nice parkways and, oh boy, what was that, a Robert Moses, in quotes, parkway? So now that said, let's get into this. Now these guys, when I say go watch this one, they actually have gone to numerous places. They just go into abandoned cities, not necessarily what you would say like Tartarian related research. They just go into abandoned places, theme parks, and go into them and videotape them. And they do some of the best jobs that I've ever seen. It's one of my favorite channels to watch, actually. And just over a period of time watching this, and I actually watched Woke a couple times. This video is awesome. I don't buy too much into the AI type deal. I just put that disclaimer out there. This dude Woke puts out great videos and great work, and I align with a lot of stuff. But as far as me personally, with the whole AI Terminator, Skynet, Rise of the Machines, I don't buy that at all. Like the Nexus Point, and once AI turns on, that doesn't ping on my radar whatsoever. I do appreciate it though, and I like that. And actually, Terminators are some of my favorite movies to watch. Now that said, what he goes through in this,
What?
let's just
Is
listen
a real
to him.
motherboard. Look at it, look just like a city. The buildings in the background blending in.
Yes.
Definitely based off the same sort of looks. Definitely, maybe.
Now, if he doesn't go into it now, I will explain what he
So it
goes
got me
into.
intrigued.
Printing.
Here's one being made, printed, put together by a machine.
Very interesting concept.
A machine building a machine.
He goes into, okay, so what I'm going to say is, because I want to try to round this down, I'm obviously going to do some more of these. What I'll do is I'm going to actually reference, Mr. Brees had a great idea, is use these for reference as far as, for example, like this. I'm going to go check out where this cataract power conduct thing is, because I know where this area is, and there's actually a lighthouse there. And there's amazing maps. Got to get into it. Thank you again, sir. Muddy May, thank you as always for all your research as well too. I always going to shout you out, 100%, because you deserve it. So yeah, Mr. Brees just steps up to the plate and just absolutely destroys it out of the firmament with these maps. My word. So yeah, I'll go through and get boots on the ground at this place now that we know that I can confirm that the 190 Thruway was a canal, and affirming my posit here in this video. I will go through these maps and we'll do some more for you. Yeah, they terraformed a lot of stuff, and also in these cities that were here previous, in these massive Tartarian built-out cities, what Woke gets into here is, does the actual grid itself, if they're shaped like that, okay, if cities are shaped like what he's saying, his idea was, are they actually generating the electricity themselves? Now that's crazy, unbelievable to think about, right? And I understand that. But like I said, I watched a couple times, and then I seen, there's a couple videos these guys have where they go into these old structures and the power is still on. Literally, and they'll attest to that. And I think I messaged them before, and they've actually literally acknowledged it. Or they actually, like, I messaged them on like IG or something like that, and they pointed me to their fan page, pretty much. And because I always email people that I watch and everything, I try to get in touch with them. But they go into these places, okay, and some of the lights are on in these abandoned places. Now, real quick, I'm just gonna wind this down. If I'm late on my bill for a month, I get a late fee. I'm sure you guys can attest to that. They know where their electric's going. Now, one thing might say, oh, they're leaving it on to start a fire, and that makes sense too for our research. They're trying to purposely start a fire and burn the place. Or why is the power still on in these places? Look, here you go. This one. Look at abandoned asylum with power. How does it still have, okay, what does it say? How does it still work? How does the power still work? There you go. Oh, maybe it's because of this. Maybe the actual grid is generating the grid power. Okay? When you start thinking about what they can do with this, when you start researching what Campbell is saying at Autodidactic, Martin Liedtke at Flat Earth British, UAP, Woke, all these guys, Conspiracy R Us, everybody I can't name, John Levy. What do you think that we are studying? We're studying energy being given for free. Us coming upon it, hiding it, completely terraforming, geo-engineering the land to bottleneck energy and sell it off to us by parcel, parceling everything down into parcels instead of keeping it open and beautiful like the Tartarian free energy is how we thought it was. These questions need to be asked, and 2020 also stands for 2020 vision. And we're on to something. The Great Awakening means more than just being aware of politics, okay? Berserker Bear will report back. I hope you like that one. Share it, thumbs up, subscribe, and take care, everybody. Be safe out there. I'll get back at you.